What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today reactions to the classics. We got another top 10 song reactions, and this time we're looking at Mr. Bob Seger, an artist I'm not too familiar with, but all the stuff I do know of him is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I know a decent amount of his stuff. I mean, I was born in 1971, so his peak was a little bit before I was really into music, but I know a lot of his hits. I only know 3 or 4 songs on this list, I think. List brought to us by Rich, who knows a lot about music. I'm talking from the inception of rock and roll. I've seen a lot of the lists he has and different things. I mean, just highly impressive.
Excited for this one.
Whether you agree with him or not, it's really hard on a list like this from a guy who's got this kind of catalog to really be able to nail it down to 10. So if you like this video, give us a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button below. Check out our social media, Facebook group in particular. I think you'd really enjoy a lot of great music discussion every single day. Also, if you like this, you'll like our podcast. Check out the link below. And if you'd like us to do a top 10 for you, an album reaction, a song reaction, whatever, check out our Patreon link below. We would much appreciate it.
All right, well, let's get a little quick facts about Bob before getting into this list. So Rich said, in his opinion, Bob is one of the most underrated rock and roll Hall of Famers. He's got a career spanning 6 decades, sold more than 75 million records. Not too shabby, Mr. Seger. And he was inducted not only into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2004, but also the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2012. So pretty rare to get that double.
I was just going to say, that's a very rare thing and tells you what kind of true artist you really are. So the way this is going to work, if you're watching it on YouTube, the music's going to be taken out, so you're just going to have our reactions between songs because we'll get copyright and the whole video will get blocked. But if you want to watch it, there'll be a link down below where you can watch the entire thing. Otherwise, just hang out here. We're not really going to say much during the song for the reason that you might just be watching our reaction, so we don't want you to miss what we think of it. Also, we'll have the lyrics pulled up, so we'll be following along there.
All right, well, let's start this list off. Number 10, Rock and Roll Never Forgets from the Night Moves album from 1976. This will not be the only time Night Moves pops up on this list. This was
Spoiler alert.
The third and final single from the record, went to 41 in the U.S. And Seger, this kind of has an interesting backstory. He said he wrote this after attending a high school reunion. I don't know if it was his or not, but he said, I wanted to just write an honest appraisal of where I was at that moment in time. I was 31 years old and I was just damn glad to be here. The song is about aging and the ongoing power of rock music and advises the listener to return to the rock and roll he once loved. It also serves as a bit of a tribute to Chuck Berry, one of the originals, of course, in rock and roll, who's mentioned in the line, well, all of Chuck's children are out there playing his licks. Get into your kicks. Come back, baby. Rock and roll. Never forget. So, just kind of like, not all the songs are going to have a little intro like that, but I like it when they do to kind of know what's going on.
Agreed.
So, let's get this rocking. Number 10. Good way, I think, to start off the record. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Exactly what I expected from Mr. Seger. Never heard this song. Yeah, just a nice rocker. I mean, the lyrics followed exactly
I was about to say,
what you talked about in the beginning, and just reminding his 31-year-old self was reminding his 16-year-old self, you know, as your age, and don't forget, man, the rock and roll that you once loved, which is...
Don't forget to keep it in your blood.
Sitting here at almost 49, 31, thinking he was getting old, and the aging process a little scary, man.
No, I really dug that one. I think that just whenever you think of Seeger, it's kind of that's kind of just straight up rock and roll blood and sound that you would expect. That was in that song, and I see it opens the record off as well, Night Moves.
Always
so
interesting to see that. And
I think starting this record off and starting our list off, it did pretty well. Enjoyed the brass instrumentation at the end. Cool little guitar lead as well, so I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and that's going to bring us to back-to-back tracks off his 1978 album, Stranger in Town. This is going to be Till It Shines. I really don't have any research on this track in particular. Sounds like it might be a little more chilled out, but you never know.
All right, let's see it. Number 9. Definitely a stark contrast to the previous song we had, Rock and Roll Never Forgets. Here we saw another side of Bob here with a little more relaxed, mellow guitar lead that I really enjoyed, as I mentioned in the track, and I like the lyrical content as well. Kind of noting that He says, I've been too long on these islands. I've been far too long alone. I've been too long without summer in this winter home. And then he mentions maybe we can leave this much behind till it shines. Even noting that the rich man is lost and lonely here. But at the end of the day, till it shines, there's always, I think, that sun that we can look out on the distance to hope to shine on us. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I just like the difference. I don't know if Rich did this on purpose, but between the first two songs, this one was just so much more a showcase of his voice. The instrumentation, especially the guitars you mentioned, was still fantastic, but just a different type of tempo, showing Bob can really do it all. He has such a distinctive voice. The second you hear his voice, you know who it is, and that's such a wonderful gift to have. So great first two tracks.
All right, now to number 8, we're going to Feel Like a Number, also from Stranger in Town, releases the B-side of the top 5 single, Still the Same.
Which is a fantastic song.
This was also in the movie Body Heat from 1981. The lyrics are sung by an ordinary worker who feels devalued, unrecognized, and unappreciated by modern impersonal society. Man, Bob was onto something, I think.
Yeah, 1978, man.
He feels like his co-workers to be just another drone. The telephone company considers him just another phone, and the IRS considers him to be just another file. Bob said he got the idea for the song after watching a show about computer banks and how many names were in them. He said, we're all in computer banks. Lord knows how many data collections there are. Everybody is a number, and in the record industry, you're also thought of a lot of times as, what? A number. The amount you sell or whatever. Some of the humanity gets lost, and the hype takes over. You have to watch out. That's the whole idea of Stranger in Town as an album, actually. It's about the identity and trying to survive and keep your identity. So, very interesting. He's already writing about this in the late 70s.
Yeah, I was going to say he's already got this figured out. A live version was released off the album 9 Tonight in 1981, and it did go to number 48, so it did get a little single run. But yeah, I'm interested to hear these lyrics because it's 1978, 2020. We're definitely all a number and everywhere. So
absolutely,
Bob was a prophet, man.
So number 8, let's see what we got. That's my favorite up to this point. I know we're only 3 tracks in, but I love the lyrical and instrumental just vibe of the track.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. The lyrics are fire, man. I work my back till it's racked with pain. This is verse 1. The boss can't even recall my name. I show up late and I'm docked. I mean, I imagine he probably worked a little extra, did some other stuff, but the one time you show up late, you get docked. They don't care. It never fails. I feel like just another spoke in a great big wheel, like a tiny blade of grass in a great big field. And he goes on running on to how in workers he's a drone, to the phone company he's a phone, to teachers I'm just another child.
So all his life from or all of anybody's life from the time they're in school to then just working for the man.
And you said in the beginning, Trey, it's 1978.
Yeah, for real. I was just very impressed with the prophetic nature of this track a little bit, and I enjoyed the refrain in here. I feel like a number, but then he knows I'm not a number. Damn it, I'm a man. I said I'm a man. I like, and that's I think one of the things that's relatable about Seger. He kind of has that aura of just an everyday man.
Yeah, you feel like this guy just go have a beer with you, not that pretentious. Like, hey man, I'm a rock star, man, and he gets it, man.
I don't ever feel like he's putting up a front or what. I feel like he believes the words he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's great.
That's not always easy to find.
No, it's not
in music, and had a little more of that ragtime type of upbeat piano, especially at the end there. So I really enjoyed this one.
This one's fantastic.
This might make an appearance on my favorite tracks list at the end. And now we're going to track number 7 on the list, rather, from the record Against the Wind, Her Strut, which had a little bit of controversy around it.
It did, Trace, from 1980. It was the B-side of the single, The Horizontal Bop. It was actually inspired by feminist icon Jane Fonda, which, as we sit here in 2020, she's still with us, alive and living a good life. But the lyrics on this caused a little bit of an issue. They were Bob was accused of objectifying women because of the word her strut. He basically went in and said, look, man, I definitely love women.
Yeah.
I respect women. That's not what I'm doing here. I like the way the word sounded, the hardness of the word when I used it. I tried to use other verses to like build women back up. I'm definitely not a sexist. That's not what I mean. I just mean men are always going to enjoy how women look.
Part of the human nature.
Part of the human nature. But in that, I'm definitely not a sexist. I'm really not. And he quoted, "Honest to God, I'm not." So interesting to hear this song. Probably get more heat 40 years later for it than he did in 1980. But let's see what he's got here.
In my opinion, the most catchy rip, much heavier than any other song we've had to this point.
Yeah, I think it was written. You know, when you read the lyrics, you listen to the instrumentation. It's kind of the right instrumental backing to it, with that kind of atmosphere, almost an attitude towards it. It was definitely produced in a different way, in the fact that it almost sounded like there was a vocal treatment just a little bit on Bob. I was going to say, not much, not like he needed it, no. It's not like that. It's just it fit the song and kind of, I think, the atmosphere they were trying to do.
I just feel watching or hearing this, you know, you got Bob in a leather jacket, just kind of
just going in. I didn't think, you know, I mean, I'm not going to get into all the PC stuff. I don't think it was.
I didn't either. From what I was getting from it. I didn't take it offensively, but I'm not a woman. But,
true. Yeah. Exactly.
But I did like kind of the double entendre there. But they love to watch her strut. They do respect her butt. Then he says they love to watch her strut. I like that. They do respect her butt. But they also love to watch.
Exactly.
Or do they respect her actual butt too?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at too. Yeah, I thought that too.
And then he kind of switches that at the end. They'll love to watch her strut. They'll kill to make the cut, and they love to watch her strut. So this woman must be she must be something if they'll kill to make the cut over here,
exactly.
Man. So good little just rocking tune right there. And we're gonna go back to Night Moves for our number 6.
We're going to go to The Fire Down Below. And I don't have any notes on this. And I mean, when I see that title, I think it might be about, you know, I don't know. Let's find out.
I'm ready.
But let's find out.
What you think of this one?
I think it was pretty much what I thought it was about. It's a great little story because he's basically saying whether you got a lot of money, whether you don't have a lot of money, no matter where you live, in the end, the gentleman... They're looking for the ladies, man. No. It doesn't matter. Like, there is no sort of social class or any of those things. And I thought it's, you know, Bob just absolutely rocking out. I don't know if we're ever going to get back to concerts as we sit here in July of 2020, but I think he'd be a really fun guy to be high up on my list just to go play some rock and roll.
And I like some of the lyricism in here too. You know, even though I think its strength was the instrumentation. I loved
and just the delivery.
Maybe my favorite guitar solo up to this point was in here, but I like how he name dropped all these places. It happens out in Vegas, happens in Moline, on the blue blood streets of Boston, up in Berkeley, and out in Queens. And it went on yesterday, and it's going on tonight. Somewhere there's somebody ain't treating somebody right. You know, there's a lot of I like the way he used the somewhere, somebody kind of motif.
The songwriting's really, really good, even back in 1976 for him. Well, we're going to stay right there on the Night Moves album from 76 with Main Street. Single went to 24 in the U.S., which back then, somebody having to point out, you know, making the charts, whether it's the album chart or the singles chart, back in the 60s, the 70s especially, and even into the 80s very much so, very difficult to do. So 24 is a pretty good showing. He stated that the street he was singing about is Ann Street, just off Main Street in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where he grew up. There's a pool hall there where they had girls dancing in the window and R&B bands playing on the weekends. He stated, again, that's going back to the Night Moves situation, where I was writing about my high school years in Ann Arbor and what it was like, the discovery, the total naivety, and fresh-faced openness that I went through. It was sort of an entire awakening of my life. Before that, I was kind of a quiet, lonesome kid. So kind of a coming of age, painting the picture. So this probably ought to be really good lyrically as well.
I always like having the backstory. So now we're in the top 5 people. Very, very strong guitar lead on this entire track. And again, kind of threw back a little more mellow, kind of put his voice up stronger.
I was going to say very strong vocal. I knew the little hook at the end, Down on Main Street. I didn't really recognize the rest of the song. I'm sure I've heard it a few times, obviously, over the years, because I knew that part. Really, really good song. Really good storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
When you know what it's about. I thought that one was just excellent, man. And a change of pace with, as you mentioned, the organ at the end. We had the keys throughout. The drums played a little more prominently in there. The guitar had a much different sound than it did on anything else. It's one thing I've really enjoyed. The guitar takes on all kinds of different tones. They don't just settle on one thing, so that's really nice.
Well, and again, too, kind of noticing a little just subtle themes. That is what I like from different eras. See if there's any similarities, but kind of that looking back on your younger years, and then how thinking back about the good times, almost in a sense, and that's kind of what you got here. Him going back to that time on Main Street where he even mentions the pool halls that we talked about at the start and whatnot, and then the gal that he saw that was so sweet, and then that's kind of what you get to the climax of the outro. And sometimes even now when I'm feeling lonely and beat, I drip back in time and I find my feet down on Main Street.
Yeah, I thought that was a great way to end it out. We've already done 3 of the 9 songs on Night Moves.
I was about to say.
Maybe we got to do a whole album review of that thing. We're already a lot of the ways there.
All right, well now we're going to go to number 4 with the song Like a Rock, which is a single and reached number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks. So big hit here for Bob. Seger said the song was inspired partly by the end of a relationship I had that had lasted for 11 years. Oof. You wonder where all that time went, but beyond that, it expresses my feeling that the best years of your life are in your late teens when you have no special commitments and no career. It's your last blast.
It's already over for you, sorry.
It's your last blast of fun before heading into the cruel world.
You know what? I think that's a fantastic quote and very true. So if you're younger and watching this and can't wait to get out in the real world, trust me, I had an experience that I couldn't wait to get out of college. About a month into my first job, I was a teacher and a coach. I woke up one morning and went, wow. Sean,
this is it.
This is what I was in such a hurry for. Now, of course, the song's greatest exposure was in the Chevrolet truck television commercials that ran from 91 until 2004, their longest running ad campaign that they've ever had for the Chevy trucks. Wow. Now, what scares me a little bit is it ended in 2004, Trey, and I remember it like it was maybe just a few years ago, but I wonder what those checks looked like for Mr. Seger running that long, because those things played on repeat, especially during sporting events.
No, I'll be curious if I recognize it once it starts playing.
You were only 9 when the ad campaign ended.
And this is from '86, by the way, so this is our latest entry up to this point. So let's see, we're almost in the top 3 already.
And not to spoil it, but it will be our latest entrant, period.
I don't know if that'll be able to get knocked out of my top 3 favorite tracks at the end, man. That's my favorite one up to this point.
Let me tell you something, Trey. I got a history with this song, right? Because I see it was released in April of '86. So I was 14, about to turn 15 in August of that year. So, you know, in my shoes as a 14-year-old, I was huge into music and into music of my time in the 80s. Popular music at that time. So I knew this song. And I mean, I liked some Seger. I never disliked Seger, but I never really, really liked him. And this song, I mean, I remember it. I never listened to it on repeat. I heard it a bunch. It meant nothing to me. You know, and a lot of times when a song is played in a commercial, it diminishes the song as far as public perception. Yeah. Because people think, you know, most songs that are featured in commercials are catchy. They're in there for a reason because it, you know, really in that commercial, if I recall right, they mainly just played the Like a Rock, you know, as the guy talked over it, telling you how sturdy the Chevy truck was. But this is a great song. It is great songwriting, man, and his voice sounds fantastic. He's one of the rare guys where you can dial, one of the rare rockers that you can dial it back, man. His voice sounds so pure, man.
No, that's what I was going to say here. One of my favorite vocal performances by him, we had that little solo that was very just emotional in the middle, and then at the end, I loved how it brought all the instruments in, great drum billing.
Yeah, the guitar was fantastic throughout.
And also in that Like a Rock section, you had just some backing vocals that made it really powerful, and then just, again, noting how, like, when you're young, you know, it felt like a million, felt like number 1, the height of summer. I'd never felt that strong. Like a rock, you know, that phrase like a rock ends every single verse. Notes he's only 18, didn't have a care, not a dime to spare, but I was lean and solid everywhere like a rock.
I thought it was a great songwriting to like play that out.
So, and then, the way he builds that up too, you know, he notes that he's got kind of some purpose. He's got, just almost a bit of a confidence and, you know, just strength in his youth a little bit.
And then like verse 3 talks about he he stood to what he believed in. My steps were quick and light, and I held firmly to what I felt was right, like a rock. So he's just delving out kind of in his life, how it progressed.
Yeah, he's straight as an arrow, unencumbered by the weight of these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams. So now, Bob, I don't know, maybe he doesn't believe in the dreams.
Yeah, because that was verse 5. Then verse 6, all of a sudden we're going to fast forward. He's like, 20 years now, where'd they go? When you get older, like me, you got to be careful to try not to do that very often. I never really do look back, but if you do it, you go, wow, I'm going to turn 49 in a few weeks, which means from my math, God willing, I'll turn 50 in a little over a year. And I'm like, how did that happen? But 20 years, I don't know. I sit and I sometimes wonder where they've gone. Sometimes late at night when I'm bathed in the firelight, the moon comes calling a ghostly white, and I recall. Boom, like a rock standing, it's just, wow, man. Really, really good.
Just a lovely, powerful tune.
And when we do these, Trey, it's become tradition that you and I pick our 3 favorite songs. I'm really worried now because we got 3 songs left.
That's right.
And I've already got 3 songs that are very strong for me. But we're going to go to a song off the Live Bullet album from 1976 called Turn the Page. Originally released all the way back off his Black album in 1972. It was released as a single, but back then Bob Seger wasn't Bob Seger, and it didn't even chart. It's about the emotional ups and downs of a rock musician's life on the road. He wrote it while touring with T. Garden and Van Winkle. And then Tom Weschler, who was the road manager for Seger at the time, remembers this song. He said, Bob's great road song came along in 72 while we were driving home from a gig. I think we were in Dubuque, Iowa in winter and stopped at a restaurant. I got to tell you, Trey, I've actually been to Dubuque, Iowa, so not a lot there. You can continue on with it.
We stood out when we entered a store, or a gas station, or a restaurant. At this restaurant, it was particularly bright inside, so there weren't any dark corners to just hide in. All these local guys were looking at us like, what are these guys doing? Is that a woman or a man? Just like in the song, that was one incident, but there were so many others on the road that led Seger to writing this.
So Dubuque's a small town. It's a farming town, or it was back in the day. I haven't been there in 30, 40 years. But so yeah, I guess I'm just thinking these farmers, these small town people sitting in that restaurant. Here come these guys with the long hair, and like,
what's going on?
Yeah, I like how he talked about they got out of the bus en masse, so they just pile off this bus and stand outside waiting. They're probably looking at him, and here they come. And this was covered by Metallica, Bon Jovi, who said that it had a big influence on him and Richie Sambora writing "Wanted Dead or Alive."
All right,
ultra famous song from '86. So I have no idea what this song is because I've never heard it. So
all right, well, and I'm glad we're going to get a little live version action. So that'll be kind of neat.
Now, first of all, my apologies to the farmers in Dubuque, Iowa, because I saw a story on Genius over here, a quote over here on the side. It was actually 3:00 in the morning, and they stopped at a truck stop, which was on the side in Dubuque, and all the truckers were asking.
Okay,
and they said they used to shove their hair up into their hats so they didn't get ostracized. But I know we just did a song reaction, whether it's up or not, who knows, for Baker Street last night by Jerry Raftery, but that really did sound some of that sax in there, but we mentioned it during the reaction. Man, does Bob sound good in concert.
Oh, absolutely.
You would never know that was in concert unless you just heard a little chatter in there.
Yes, such a clear,
and the instrumentation, the musicians were
it was like it was an album cut, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It was unbelievable, and I just love the again, just the atmosphere created, the emotions it brought forth. You kind of did almost sense that danger was maybe around the corner whenever the chorus hit, "Here I am on the road again, there I am up on the stage." And I like that because he literally was up on the stage when he was singing this live, of course. "Here I go, playing the star again, there I go, turn the page." And I think just hitting... obviously, not everybody's a rock star, but there are a decent amount of jobs that require a lot of travel from this place to the other. You don't know, you're missing home, and you maybe you're not riding 16 hours like Bob was here, but still that can kind of grind your gears a little bit. And I think Bob did a good job reflecting that.
I do too.
In the lyrics of this, and again mentioning the restaurant and this or that, which we had talked about, the same old cliches. Is that a woman or a man? Trying to hide themselves out. So really enjoyed this one, especially that saxophone in there.
Oh yeah,
I thought that added a nice texture to the track. So number 3, Turn the Page. Now that takes us to our top 2. What's it going to be? Maybe your favorite song's coming up. We got number 2, the title track Against the Wind from 1980. Seger said it came about from his days as a high school cross-country runner. Wow, I didn't expect Bob to be
I did not either.
Be a long-distance runner here. Do you describe the song as about trying to move ahead, keeping your sanity and integrity at the same time? And there's somebody called Jan in here that Seger references in the opening lyrics, which refers to Jan Densdale, with whom he had a long-term relationship from 72 until 83.
So she's the 11-year woman.
There we go. And in Rolling Stone, Seger elaborated on the song's meaning, saying, Jan says to me all the time, you allow more people to walk on you than anybody I've ever known. And I always say it's human nature that people are going to love you sometimes and they're going to use you sometimes. Knowing the difference between when people are using you and when they truly care about you, that's what Against the Wind is all about. The people in that song have weathered the storm, and it's made them much better than that they've been able to do it, maintain whatever relationship. To get through is a real victory.
Wow, that is some true wisdom from Mr. Seger.
Bob's spitting truth left and right. So with that said, let's see what we got here. All right, Against the Wind, man. Seger coming in with another certified banger.
Oh yeah, I knew this song. I mean, I've heard this song several times. Still, I was 8, 9 years old when it came out, but I mean, I've heard this song several times. Never really, internalized the lyrics. It's crazy because in all these songs, I guess I'm resonating with this list so much because, he's in his mid-30s here. If math does me right there. The other one, he was 31 when he was writing a lot of night moves. So I remember that time in my 30s where you do reflect and go, man, I'm not my 20s or my teens anymore. Man, time went fast. But now even more, as I mentioned, I'm about to turn 49. You really do look back on these things. So just wonderful storytelling.
Yeah,
just
man.
Fantastic.
No, he really kind of gets you in your feelings a little bit, which you wouldn't expect just looking at all, just judging the book by its cover.
Yeah, you think he's going to go here and rock me out, which he can do, but man alive, he can write.
And yeah, that's just, again, what impressed me. And it was quite catchy, especially in the outro with the call and response where, Bob's saying, this and that, watch the young man run. And then we get the Against the Wind, just constantly going in with that. So I, yet again, enjoyed that. And again, returning to that theme of looking back when you were younger, this or that, you can move 8 miles a minute for months at a time, breaking all the rules that would bend. And I began to find myself searching for shelter again and again. And then he goes into the Against the Wind thing again. The years rolled slowly past, and I find myself alone, surrounded by strangers I thought were my friends, found myself further and further from my home. So, and again, I like that too, where as the song progresses, it's almost like he kind of takes his current perspective and then thinks back.
And I think it's got a line up there towards the top right there that wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. And I'm like, that's a fantastic, you said it during the reaction, that's a fantastic line.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite line of of this list so far.
Yeah,
man.
I think this is great. Now, Trey, drum roll, we're finally there to the number one song. This song took him 6 months to write. This song was responsible from changing Bob from being a popular regional favorite into a national star. He's claimed it's the favorite song he ever wrote. He continued to try to replicate it years afterwards, and was named by Rolling Stone as the best single of the year for 1977. So, went to number 4 in the U.S. Title track, most people. If you're a Bob fan, you got it. Night Moves off the album from '76. Once again, like the whole album, has roots in his adolescence. He wrote it in an attempt to capture the, quote, freedom and looseness he experienced during that period of his life, which he already said, the teen years are the best years of your life. At a certain point, he began socializing with the rougher crowd who thought he was cool because he played music. The song's contents are largely autobiographical. Ooh. For example, the group of friends would often hold parties they called grassers, which involved going to a farmer's field, out in the middle of nowhere, you're safe, outside Ann Arbor to dance. Through these, he met a woman credited as Renee Andretti in the Encyclopedia of Great Popular Song Recordings. Not familiar with that one. Maybe I ought to read it, considering I do a lot of research. Whose boyfriend was in the military and was away. Oh, no, Bob.
Bob out here, balling.
Seger promptly pursued a romantic relationship with the girl, but eventually her partner returned and they married, leaving Seger with a broken heart. Hopefully, he didn't leave him with broken legs.
Oh, absolutely. I'm already getting prepared for this. I love this intro, and also the catalyst for writing this came after Seger saw the film American Graffiti.
Classic.
I came out of the theater thinking, hey, I've got a story to tell too. Nobody's ever told about how it was to grow up in my neck of the woods. He said he was inspired by the example of Springsteen's Jungleland to include 2 bridges in this track.
Well, we both love Jungleland, closing track on Born to Run from 75. We got that one up on the channel as well. Here we are, number 1. Let's go see some Night Moves.
I did not. Coming in at 1.
Man.
Night Moves, man. That was definitely a worthy number 1 pick there, Rich. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely choir backing vocals in there. Enjoyed how in that bridge it just went silent and, kind of...
Yeah, wonderfully constructed and arranged.
Kind of put the focus on those lyrics, and, the song was ending, the sweet summertime, and then that bridge at the end. Strange how the night moves with autumn closing in. So, yet again, kind of that presence out there that's coming in for you. And I think, again, he reflected the those thoughts that one has as they're growing up, or when as time is passing by a little bit, or when the night's moving, closing in on you, I guess, when you start to, just think as you're lying down, different types of things. Yeah. I think Bob can get to the heart of that. But I really enjoyed that one. I know you were familiar with it, but...
Yeah, it's fire, though, man. I've never sat here and looked at the lyrics either, to tell the story.
But yeah, I didn't expect Seger to be this good a lyricist.
I didn't either.
Songwriter.
I didn't either, even though you're not familiar with some of the songs. You don't sit there when you're a teenager. You might not sit there now if you're not a teenager and just sit there and look at lyrics.
No, yeah.
And really dissect them and go, wow, man, that's a great story. Even if sometimes I got songs I knew the words to by heart, but never really thought about
them,
what they were saying. So when you get an opportunity to sit here like this, in this environment, and just listen to him one after another, his lyricism is, he's in the Songwriting Hall of Fame for a reason. So, oh man, that's why I'm over here shaking my head, because got to pick 3. We've never picked 4. We can't pick 4. We got to pick 3. Just one of those things we started doing. I have my honorable mentions, Trey, are Main Street.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
And Night Moves. Oh, it's not going to make my list. That's where I'm...
Well, I got my faves locked down. I got Feel Like a Number.
That's one of mine.
I got Like a Rock.
That's one of mine.
Which might have been my favorite. And then Night Moves is coming in barely.
So Against the Wind is going to be my other favorite.
There you
That's
go.
That's where I'm leaving Night Moves off. But I mean, geez, man.
Against the Wind was probably my number 4. Turn the Page live especially.
Turn the Page, I loved from that. It was just the vocal performance was outstanding. And I mean, not a bad song on here.
No, this has been a very pleasant surprise. Just I didn't really know any Seeker coming into this, and that's why I like doing these top 10s, is because it gives a great primer for an artist from
and it gives you a snapshot of like
their career,
career, man.
And that's what I enjoyed about this. So, Rich, I thought you did a hell of a job here on this list, and I'm looking forward to more down the road. But let us know, y'all, your top 10 list down in the comments section. What is your favorite Seeker record and album? I see I think we had 4 from Night Move, so we did, man.
We got 4 of the 9 done. So we might as well queue up an album review. Might as well do research on the other 5 and hook one up.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, let us know below, y'all, what you think. As always, I appreciate the research and backstory.
It's a lot of fun, man. This one was so much fun.
To these tracks. And until next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and we will see ya.